I have a food bank haul. I usually don't have a haul. I do volunteer at the food bank, but I do delivery, so by the time I get home, I don't have anything to show. But today was an exception, and I'll show you what the clients got. And afterwards, I'll talk about how the food bank went. A 2-pound bag of frozen blueberries, right there. Oh, 2.5 pounds. 1 dozen eggs, 5-pound frozen chicken drumsticks. In shelf-stable food, everyone got a can of corn, a bag of walnuts, and this big thing of tomato puree. I know it's tomato puree because I saw the box it came in, though this bag is not, doesn't look to be marked. A couple people actually got in touch with me to ask me what it was. So it's a big bag. It's not, for most people, but I imagine if you cut it up and put it into smaller portions, you can freeze it. It's actually a wonderful thing to have once you figure out what it is. For produce, there were carrots, oranges, celery, apples, and corn. They also gave away some broccoli. So we served today about 220 families. They come through in cars, trunk open, there's a couple of stops, and the volunteers put things in the trunk or wherever, so depending on how many tickets they have. So if they have one ticket, let's say there's oranges, they have one ticket, they get 1 bag of oranges. There's 2 tickets, they get 2 bags of oranges. Sometimes people pick up for other people, and the most I've ever seen is 7 tickets. That's a lot of stuff because you got to put 7 of everything in there. So we had a couple of big orders like that, 4 to 6 tickets, but most of them were 1, 2, and 3. So I was in my usual spot there at the end of the line, the last stop. We usually have eggs, a bread, maybe some other dairy product. It depends. We have not had as much bread lately as we've had in the past. Last time I was there 2 weeks before, we had Cheerios instead of bread, and I don't know how that works. So my job, there were only 2 of us today there at that particular table, so we had eggs to give out. I had to pick up the tickets from the windshield. We also had frozen blueberries, and we had the frozen chickens. So what happens is the car pulls up, and I run to the car. I give them their eggs through the front window, the driver's side window. We don't put the eggs in the back or with the other groceries because they could break, and then I take the tickets off. Then after that's done, I ran back and I grabbed the chicken and the blueberries and put those in the trunk. Usually we have more people to do that, so maybe I would just do the eggs and the tickets and then tell the people that they were done and to move on. But I had to do all that stuff because, as I said, there are only 2 of us, and I was in the front of the table putting everything into the car, and there was one person behind the table, and he was lifting up the heavy boxes of like chicken or of eggs and putting them on the table so I could grab them. Every once in a while, as I said, we'd have like 5 tickets or 4 tickets or 7 tickets, and that's a lot of chicken. It's very heavy. It's a lot of frozen stuff. So he would pack up a box, and because he's bigger and stronger than me, he would put that in the trunk instead of my having to run that stuff myself. So what would happen is sometimes if we have multiple tickets, what would happen is I might hit the car 6 times, running back and forth from the car to the table to the car. Let's say I have to take 4, there's 4 tickets. So I don't like to take more than 2 eggs at a time. It just is too dangerous. So I'd run twice to get the eggs. At one of those times I would grab the tickets. Then I'd have to put the chicken and the blueberries in there. And if my partner behind the table wasn't able to help me with that, then I'd have to put the blueberries in and run back and get the chicken. I cannot carry 4, 5 pounds of chicken at a time. Maybe somebody else could, but I can't. So I could easily go 3 or 4 or 5 times back and forth to the same car, putting food in, depending what it is and how heavy it is. So that's a lot of running around. When everything is done and I've closed the door, the side door if they want their food in the back seat, or if I've closed the trunk, if their stuff goes in the trunk or in the back of the truck or whatever, I close the tailgate gate. Then I run to the front and tell them they can go. I tell them they cannot go until I tell them to, because people start not thinking or their mind is in another place and they start driving off without the trunk being closed or any number of other things. Every once in a while somebody will forget to put something in there from an earlier stop, so they'll run up and do that too. So until I give the verbal go-ahead, they stay in position at the stop sign. In addition to the food, we also give out diapers. There's like an application process for that. So people, in addition to food, if they've passed the whatever the qualifications, they get diapers for children. I mentioned to the food bank that they need to have adult diapers too for seniors and people who are, for whatever reason, need them, and they are, I guess, working on that. But the diaper thing is so important. The weather was really good. It was perfect. It was really warm. It was nice. 2 weeks before, it was raining. Not only was it raining, but it was windy. So at one point, a big gust of wind came and it lifted the couple of the canopies. We had canopies over the table and over the food so that the boxes and stuff wouldn't get wet. Lifted the canopies, and my canopy was at the end, and I had to grab it because it was heading towards the cars, because the cars are right beyond us. So that was a kind of an adventure. You got to think fast there. So I did a delivery on the way home, and it's always such a pleasure to do these deliveries because people are so happy to get their boxes, just so happy. It makes a big difference. Somebody I was working with there at the food bank told me that he does deliveries, and he said he's got one woman that when he pulls up with the delivery, she waits for him outside and she cries. I mean, that is heartbreaking. But I'm so glad I can be part of something which solves that. So we're heading into the hot season. We've got maybe a month or two, April, May, possibly June, where it'll be real pleasant to work and we'll be sweating. But you know, I've done it year round, all sorts of weather, rain, cold, hot, and you know, I just always think of the clients and how happy they are to get their food. So I'm going again in about 2 weeks, week and a half, depending when this video comes out, and we'll start the whole process again. So anyway, that's the story here. Thank you so much for watching.